This is the audio recording for Fuck, I'm 30. Adulting has levels. Here are the cheat codes from people you actually care about. By Novi Brown. Dedication. They say it takes a village. To the endless hours of conversations that grew me this year. Thank you so much, Mom, Papa, Rhainita, Destiny, Bones, Linda, and Ricardo, just to name a few. Hello. This is how Fuck, I'm 30 works. First and foremost, thank you for joining me here on this journey. You know, I wrote this book because I know I'm not the only one freaking the F out about career, love, money, and time. This book is meant to be a part of your survival guide, or as I like to say, the cheat codes to adulting, with a twist. At the end of each chapter, there's a section dedicated to gathering cheat codes from people you actually care about. I encourage you to ask a few different people you respect questions relating to the chapter. See who you resonate with the most, and ask them to write their piece in your book. The more fruit you gather along your journey, the more you'll be able to feast a little easier and perhaps leave some for those to come. Lastly, Chapter 9 is for you to curate, title and all. So sit back, laugh with me, argue with me, and grow with me. Look, we all need therapy. This is the subconscious rise for a baller on a budget. Oh, this is my introduction. Let's get cozy, shall we? Okay, you can say frustration, the almighty uphill battle of life, brought me here. Oh, and I'm turning 30 this year. Hold on. Don't be fooled. This is not an ode to turning the dirty 30. Nah, this is one of those fuck, what am I doing with my life moments that may actually never truly fade away. Well, I cannot say never because I am just 29. However, as I currently sit in my living room in oh so sunny Los Angeles, Cali baby, with my snoring 115-pound dog, Castor Troy, guess the movie, and you'll be my new best friend, and my friend on FaceTime, hey Bones, I said, I need to write a book tonight. Perhaps ambitious, I know, but the overwhelming urge to get this shit out of my soul is louder than my need for silence. Today I got fired from my job as the ever illustrious liquor handler, aka your favorite bartender, from another chic Hollywood locale. Why I got fired will come in a bit if you hang around, but let's take a moment to relish our obsession with one thing. Time. Ooh, that motherfucker is a pain in my cocoa butter ass. Society raised me, but it is my job to escape that false sense of reality. Time is the ultimate equalizer amongst all of us, right? We live, then we die, and then there's shit in between. Look, pessimistic I am not. Realistic is more like it. Yet, reality is relative to the viewer and subjective to the player. Approach is key, and foundation is the institution of thought. Accept it or not, we are what we have experienced and our reactions to them. If you were taught growth, acceptance, and love, then most likely you will have built a dwelling there, the root. Many of us fight our natural thought process because fuck it, some of us were given a shit hand, and few question it. Who's better off? Well, that's a personal choice. Everyone talks about the comfort zone, and we all have lived in it. Probably still right now, huh? Whether we set up a tent for a night or bought that espresso Luxette from Target and set up house. The only question that viscerally remains is, are you good with living your entire life there and never questioning beyond the realm of your present reality? Personally, I'm not sure. That's why I'm writing this book. Let's talk it through. Chapter 1. Love, love, love. However you want to pronounce it, we all need it. I met this young woman recently at a job on set. She just moved from New York City to Los Angeles to pursue a career in Hollywood. On the way back home, we decided to share an Uber. If you know anything about LA, you'll know that at least 1/3 of your day is spent in a damn car. It's sad, but true. We're talking, and she had mentioned this guy that is her best friend and how dope he is. She was crushing hard. Ooh, how I love that feeling. Okay, so I gathered more details and I asked her one thing. Do you think you deserve to be happy? Her eyebrows furrowed. She slightly hesitated and stuttered before she answered yes. Needless to say, I didn't believe her. We continued to chat and I found out more about her situation. I told her straight up, look, life is too fucking short to be quiet. There are too many people in this world, and you're not the only person he's going to connect with, and vice versa. Just tell him, because if you don't, you know how that domino effect of loss and resentment goes. If you feel he respects you and you trust him, then tell him. And maybe it's not now, but at least you'll know. The loss of never knowing should always, always outweigh the fear of finding out. When it comes to the matters of the heart, I say go all in. Wait, hold up. Enter with caution, not paranoia. For many people, the heartbreaks surpass the love wins. My best friend, and just all around dope ass human, Rhainita, said something hilarious tonight. I told her that I wanted to try my hand at stand up comedy. That's not easy, she says. So, I replied. She burst out laughing and said, you're right. It's not meant to be easy. Ooh, I love this woman so much because she just gets me. Life is not easy, and surely love is not, okay? It's a vulnerable, cathartic, frantic, exciting place to be in. You're fucking scared all the time that your partner is going to walk away from who you are and who you are becoming, but enjoying it at the same damn time. It's the beautiful balance of being your authentic self in an apologetic yet unapologetic way. Whew, man, it's love. You feel me? It's my belief, just like with every aspect of life, love is a process. It's not a push or a pull. Pernille Spears Lopez, author of Good Life Design and former CEO of IKEA North America, told me that choosing your life partner is the single most important decision of your life. This clicked and settled so hard within me that I recognized why I did what I did in relationships. I was never that girl that always had a boyfriend or was in a series of serious relationships back to back. Nah, but I had guys interested. I went on many dates and I met lots of different types of men, and I found dating fun and exhausting. I regularly tell my friends that a first date is the best time to be your authentic self. Fuck the facade / trying to impress you part. You're already impressive, aren't you? And even if you don't feel as if you are working on it. You just don't see it yet. Trust me, there are more than enough options out there. That's why you should be authentic through and through. In my mind, it just never makes sense to hide who you are because the truth will always be revealed. And it's just madness to pretend to be something you shouldn't want to be. Oh, and everyone has a fan. That being said, my love is not for everyone. Simultaneously, I don't want to hide it either. It's fascinating that people expect lovers to do what they have not or will not do themselves. A relationship, love, is a mirror. It reflects the energy within that space. You have to be courageous, engaged, and transparent in love if you want to grow from that experience. Look, I cannot guarantee that your partner will do the work, but if you do, then you can be at peace with yourself. And honestly, that's all you can do. Show up, show out, and level up. Cheat code. This is the area where you ask some questions to somebody that you love. Maybe have a discussion with someone. Is love a luxury or a necessity? Ask someone you love. Ask them first heartbreak versus the recent one. Does it get any easier? Chapter 2. Oops, I'm late. And I really don't give a fuck. Timely, I am not. Never been my strong suit, and I will not apologize for it. As a society, we apologize way too much. For what? Generally, to make those around us feel more comfortable? And why? I have no fucking idea, but I do think it's a waste of time and energy. Only because it does not give us a chance to stand in our own enchanting and equally interesting personas. Saying sorry has lost its pizzazz, people. The intention of it all is what matters, and seriously, some of us are just horrible with time. Please don't misunderstand that my intention is to waste your time. That's just rude. In reality, we are all running on varied speeds and expected to show up at the same time. Say who? This trickles down into our entire life's journey where we are expected to have a successful career, fall in love, and have babies on their time. That's unrealistic, boo. The less apologetic we are for our behaviors as a whole, the more minuscule contraptions, that he said, she said sickness we employ would not matter as much. At some point or another, we all have fallen into the abyss of what someone said and how they said it. And then, lo and behold, we take it too fucking personal. It is disturbingly and increasingly damaging to the ego and thus, in turn, to society. Ultimately, we are all working as a collective, and what hurts one hurts us all. I digress. Often and unapologetically. Because that's how the mind truly works, as a wacky, perplexing brain teaser. I know I'm corny. Deal with it. Okay. The obsession with time makes me question the relevance of birthdays. Stop. You don't know me. I'm a Scorpio. I love birthdays. I highly agree with the celebration of life and how your existence is a piece of the big ass puzzle. Honestly, I can say I have met thousands of people, mainly because I inhabit hugely populated cities and have worked for 13 years behind bars and in fancy eateries, all of who have mattered in my journey. Yep, the big, the tall, the small, the short, the long, every single one. Much time is spent in awe of, if I had not done this at a certain time, I would be on a different path. It's true. Maybe too deep for some, but that's what makes life so interesting for me. Real life connect the dots. I listened on an audiobook, The Big Leap. Gay Hendricks, you are a genius, BT dub. That if you list 72 of the most important people in your life, you'll know everyone in the world. How fucking dope is that? I mean, let's talk about it. That is deep. Soul deep, heart deep. Time has its relevance, but I don't condone the thrashing, unhealthy perpetuation of its existence in terms of success. Some societies have this thing I like to call clock complaints. Time is the antagonist in their lives consistently. You've heard this. By 30, I need a car and need to at least be engaged. I need to have kids by the time I'm 32, and that's already falling behind. Look, I need to have a house by 40, or else I am a failure. I am not saying having goals for certain aspects of your life is not valid. Of course it is. But it is not everything. This is how I break it down. First is like, welcome, baby. You're here. Peer pressure, puberty. College confusion. Bills and babies. Gray hairs and grandkids. And then it's like, what the fuck? It's over already. Okay, so just stay with me here. You're born, you go to preschool to learn how to talk, write, add, and shit on your own. Then you get hormonal and follow other adolescents' advice, who are just as puberty ridden and crazy as you, by the way. Somewhere in there is a first kiss. Don't forget about peer pressure, which is rarely good and regularly not so good. Oh, and decide what you want to be for the rest of your life. This is all before 18, by the way. Next up, you're told by your elders how to behave when in reality the stories are good, but sometimes not even relevant to the times because things propel and change so rapidly. It's hard for the coming generations to even keep on par with their own rules. Moving on, you're studying and getting yourself into debt for a piece of paper that says you were committed and spent hella money you don't have to get a job that you probably are overqualified for or won't get because you don't have enough experience. Is this a motherfucking setup, bruh? Then you're supposed to meet your soulmate, whatever that means, and marry them. Start your dream job and pop out more people to do the same thing you just did. Oh, and this is all before you're 35 because apparently I have to have my shit together by then. Yo, can I live? Can I travel the world? Can I eat food from different cultures, drink vintage wine in Rome, or talk to strangers at the Mayan ruins? Can I take a moment to discover my strengths, my not so good qualities that I may or may not fix? FYI, perfection does not exist. Perspective does. Can I take a moment to just figure out who I am? Then we wonder why so many soulmates divorce, have counterproductive self-esteem issues, bring that to their children, and are mad as hell at the world. Why must I commit my short time on this gloriously divine and magical earth to this unspoken, pressurized ideal of what a good and happy life is? Enlightenment has become a satirized topic amongst us humans. Exploring ourselves and life is frowned upon by most people who have not even left their own cocoon. By all means, if you are content with your cocoon, aka your comfort zone, stay there, baby. But please do not tell me I have to do the same. That is you pulling and thrusting me into your environment, basically brainwashing and repressing my natural instinct to explore. That's what we were built for, to experience life. What is life experience without actual experience? And who the fuck put a time cap on when, where, how, and why I experience it? Simply put, many people want other people to conform. They need company, that misery. They need you to slump down, to stand still, to flatline because it makes them uncomfortable when you are doing something new since they let fear trite their natural exploratory instincts. They let someone steal their joy and now they became the thief. We are natural born nomads. History and science has proven such by way of Earth in itself. You see, we are a part of this big ass rock floating in the middle of an endless galaxy. And when the planets align, energies shift. When energy shifts, we either move away from it or flow with it. What I mean about the planets aligning is when vital moments in your life are set up, whether you regard them as failures or triumphs, you react. Sometimes violently, sometimes intelligently. It is frightful how quick we are to curse the universe when things are seemingly not going our way. I'm guilty too. It's almost as if someone died, right? We go into denial. Oh my God, I can't believe blank happened. Anger. The world hates my fucking guts. Bargaining. You know what? If I had done this instead of that, I wouldn't be in this position right now. Depression. Self-explanatory and a pain in the ass emotion, right? And acceptance. All right, you know what? Fuck it. We moving on. Alas, every sucky situation does not imply the universe is conspiring to fuck you over. For example, I was living with a roommate and we decided to move on. Now, I wanted to stay in the apartment because one, who likes moving? Two, I love the neighborhood and I didn't think I would find another gem. A previous neighbor from upstairs and I had a chat. We decided he would be my new roommate. Yippee for me. I didn't have to go on Craigslist and interview a bunch of who's-its and wonder if I would get sliced and diced in the middle of the night. Look, I watch a plethora of ID channel, okay? I was just leaving one job for another, and Christmas was creeping in. 2 weeks of training and no real income, 2 bedroom, 2 bath for 1900. So I really needed a roommate. Then my instincts kicked in. How and why one ignores the most innate skill we have is purely madness. I had a feeling, y'all, that this guy was not going to hold up his end of the deal. No. Denial. He would not do that because we're our neighbors. We're cool. We're both after the same thing. At that time, and I still do this, I was praying to the universe to please remove the elements I do not need from my life. Lo and behold, a week before rent was due, he sent a text and completely flaked on me. It was 9 a.m. and I heard a ding. I couldn't sleep those days because I was anxiety-ridden with money issues and finding a decent bar gig. Woke up, read this text that began with, Novi, I know you're going to hate me, but... And I freaked the fuck out. I immediately began convulsing. My body was shaking and tears invaded my bed. Quickly, I sprang up, called his own roommate above me. Oh, yes. Right above me. When I say he lived right above me, his old apartment was right above me. And the first thing he said to me, this roommate, was, I'm so sorry, but I am not surprised. And proceeded to calm me down and offered much help. Can anyone relate? Thing is, I asked for it. And most times we don't verbally ask aloud, probably because excruciating life smackdowns like this one right here occur, for things because we essentially feel, our intuition, when the alignment is not necessarily going to work out in our best interests. What happened next? Well, I asked for a payment plan. My apartment manager had a beating heart, worked 15 days, and paid the entire rent off by the 15th, the extended deadline. Then on January 16th, 2016, I received my $10,000 check from a game show I won. I know, super random. And I also booked a print ad for Wells Fargo. So instead of moving in with my homies for a month to gather myself, I was on a mission. I had already put in my 30 days notice and started furiously apartment hunting with help from my mom, who was living in NYC. After tirelessly hunting lots of no's because of my large best friend, Castor, I was stressed the fuck out. February was fast approaching and pressure was rising. My mom, she's the real MVP, asked me to go see an apartment 1.3 miles away from where I currently lived. I declined. She pleaded, and I gave in. Isn't this how many parent-child relationships go? I was to head into work in a few hours, called and asked to see the place. The woman on the other line was super sweet and said she'd be waiting outside for me at 3 p.m. I was a little late, like always, but she was standing outside with papers in hand. As soon as we walked in the apartment, my mouth dropped. It was the biggest, dopest, carpet-free apartment I had ever seen. Yes, that's coming from a girl that lived in NYC most of her 20s. I was floored. I wanted it. Now. We walked downstairs and a guy, Gustavo, asked if I was a new neighbor, and without any hesitation, Nara, my last landlord, said, yes, this is Novi. Moments later, like a Disney movie, I saw this beautiful woman on the balcony above my head dusting her rug. This is Christina. She asks, are you going to be our new neighbor? And Nara replies, again, yes. I just stood there, smiling. Christina proclaims, well, welcome, honey. You are gonna love it here. That is the magical thing about life. That old adage, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, is oh so sweet. Initially, and at most times, we don't accept the lemons. We try to throw them away, burn them, ignore them. But 'tis life. Bittersweet. And what's better than experiencing a little bit of both? When you are pushed outside of your cocoon, you are forced to think outside of your box, if only for a moment. When you are on the outside, your brain engages and executes. My dear friend, that only brings you so much closer to your kingdom of brilliance. A saying that some brilliant being passed on to me and is my favorite of all time. Crisis shows character. How innovative we become when we are pushed to the edge. It is truly magical, and I can now proudly say I am happy for all the cliffs I almost fell off of. So when life is drop kicking you in the neck, that drowning feeling, hold your head up high and say, thank you. Or, is that all you got, motherfucker? Thank you. Say thank you and mean it, because without all those seemingly irrational and irritating moments, you'd never be on the journey to becoming you, and you are vital to this thing called life. As much as people try to transfer their cocoon fears onto you, do not let them. These people are called life leeches. They seek out their prey, which can be any and everyone, and proceed to literally suck the living life out of you. If you could actually physically feel this, I wonder how long you would stand for it. I wonder how long you would stand there if someone were to constantly tap your thumb with a hammer. You know, at some point, that shit is going to go from a dull pain to an undetectable numbness. And that is the opposite of living. People, we have all been there, and we will be there again, no matter how mind strong you are. But we do not have to stay there. Sometimes being late to them is right on time for you. I believe throughout life, we hear the same principles on how to survive, which is such a morose way to describe your journey here. But we just are not ready to hear them. That's what I mean by being late. But you're really on time. We like to learn the hard way, the way that hurts the most. We like to think we have control over every other element except ourselves, because ultimately we are the victims in this whole scheme. Explaining things away and the woe is me syndrome becoming our numbing agents. We are addicted to finding a cause to the effect of you. Well, let me tell you, as a currently unemployed storyteller, I am not a bartender. That is not the kingdom or queendom, for me ladies, I belong in. It does not make sense for someone of my spirits. I do well there, but eventually I must move on. What more apparent sign than getting fired in less than 90 days is there? I used to take it personally, as if they were attacking my character, who I was, and totally disapproved and disregarded me. That shit was painful when I let it be. However, I've learned that if your values are not aligned in all aspects of your life, it's just not going to work out. For me, I do not care to be around intoxicated beings who make sad and poor decisions under the influence anymore. My last job was almost a shooting case, but God got me out of there. That's how I got fired. See how that works? I've always said I am just one of those people who cannot work for other people. I can work with other people, but not for them. Humbly saying, it is not for me. I do not love it. What I love and what comes as natural as breathing to me is this: storytelling, connecting, creating ideas and worlds to place it in freely. I experience life and draw my perspective on it, yearning to share my findings with other people. That is my motivation. That is what comes easily to me. That is my brilliance. It moves me so passionately that I think about it day in and day out. I often have long conversations with the rare few that have similar verbal stamina and appetites. Not surprisingly, it's a lifelong conversation with ever-evolving perspectives. Otherwise, life would be so lackluster, wouldn't it? Cheat code. Everyone's racing against the clock. Ask someone you respect about timing. Chapter 3. Perspective is a hell of a drug, and we're all addicted as fuck. Personal perspective is our mental kryptonite as well as our fiercest protector. It's such a fascinating dual superpower to possess because you are able to see the glass half full and the glass half empty. both sides have proven to be hazardous. It oftentimes comes off more in a form of critique or judgment rather than enlightenment or true concern. Thirsty? Recall that moment when you finally decide to trust someone again, after they have clearly shown their ass, aka have pushed you past your threshold of acceptable behavior. Because of your superpower ability to oversee, see the glass half full, you want to work through their traumatic childhood makeup, that baggage we carry around. Then you begin hallucinating. Suddenly you are overcome with Dorothy-like delusion that you will help that person have a breakthrough and come on home. Please don't be fooled again. To put it bluntly, people tell you who they are up front through their actions. Watch carefully. Yet we create our own illusion of who they are. Your gut tells you something is amiss and drama is on the horizon. This is not to proclaim that growth does not occur, that someone cannot learn from their mistakes or move on from past habits. When it comes to people dealing with other people, the word change comes to mind. Growth is different from change. They're like cousins, sharing similar kindred qualities, yet we have to recollect that they are two completely distinctive monsters. As humans, we have tendencies to want to promote change in another and are, unfortunately, dumb enough to stick around for too long. Let's put it this way. Birds of a feather flock together. You cannot rock with everyone and everyone cannot rock with you. My mom always told me, you're not everyone's cup of cocoa, and that's okay. And you know what? She's damn right. First of all, I don't want to be friends with everyone in the world. My energy would be California dry. It takes a lifetime to build a solid relationship with even your own caretakers. Personally, I do not need everyone to like me. You know what? I like me. Oh, no. I love me. And as I continue to grow, that is the relationship that matters most to me. If I try to give everyone water when my glass is almost empty, then I would dehydrate and fucking die. And I don't know about you, but I have much more learning, growing, and glowing to do, which takes ample amounts of sweet H2O. Let's go back to tackling perspective. The only reality we live in is our own. As much as we try to see where someone else is coming from, it all circles back to one place: your own perspective. You are addicted to it. This book is a clear example of a perspective addict. The need to hold on to your own reality is top priority. Survival at its absolute most high. Why do you hold on to it so tightly, death grip and all? Well, simply, it is life versus death. What else do you have? Who would you be without your reality? Thing is, you want to retrain your mind to be at a global level, not just purely local. It is a constant climb, and you will break many, many times on the way. But being able to scale this mountain could lead you to mental freedom. After all, we are what we think. Practicing the craft of the acceptance perspective is a tantamount to understanding. Understanding leads to communication, and communication could lead to a place of acceptance, eventually leading to peace. Man, we surely could use more of that today. Functioning in this contradictory world of asking for privacy when shitty, embarrassing moments pop in, and overhyping our so-called hashtag life goals, hashtag squad goals, hashtag bagels in our social network addicted realm is counterproductive. How can you post every single thing you eat, shit, and wear, but ask for privacy when the proverbial shit hits the fan? Why are we shamed for growing? People, we are all doing the exact same thing. Living, fucking up, learning from it, and moving on. At least I think most of us are. And bullying is at an all-time high because we can actually see the anonymous viral haters commentate on our lives in real time. Currently, we are living in a dreamlike world filled with overemphasized critique on everything from our body image to our public breastfeeding. As always, though, there are two sides. Fantastic it is to be able to start a virtually free business and inspire others globally with a flick of the tips. Then there are viral social issues, which creates more inquisitive minds to ponder what the fuck is going on. I can only imagine what our forefathers think about this development. Ugh. On the other hand, this obsession has surmounted our ability to adjust. Everything is moving too fast. In less than 3 decades, we have become mobile hoarders with skewed perspectives on what is real. Authenticity is shifting and negativity is multiplying faster than cockroaches. Now, most people are guilty until proven innocent. Reputations ruined within seconds without facts behind it. We have to be careful. In times like this, the human mind can only digest so much in a propaganda-driven world. When deceptive ideals are fed to the masses, it is much harder to maintain individuality. The loss of that individualism leads to roboticized humanoids. Inhuman humans lead to unnecessary destruction and death. Therefore, keep in mind that an exclusively single-minded perspective is super risky. I am sure there has been a time when you felt, why can't you just see it from where I'm standing? Before, right? Well, I hope you and I can keep that in mind from now until forever, and not just after the fact, but in the moment, when it is the most vital, and not just when shit goes viral. Cheat code. Truth or perspective? It's a thing. Don't believe me? Ask your homie. Chapter 4. Darwin's rules, not mine. Adapting to the bullshit? While I'm writing this, I sit confused, heartbroken, and angry as fuck. The human condition is truly giving me anxiety right now. Does anyone else feel me on this? It seems as if we are living in a world of bad behavior getting rewarded time and time again. There is something truly heartbreaking when you are not valued as part of the collective in the human experience. However, the narrative can always be altered, provided that the storytellers are willing to do what they need to do. Those people are you and me. If you see bullshit, say something. We tend to forget that we are players in this game, gargantuan players. It doesn't matter where you were born, what you look like, what your religion is, who you decide to sleep with, or how little money you have. We are valuable writers in this story. Additionally, we continue to dip our pens into other people's ink, hoping that our story will come out the way we envisioned it to be. I find that a bit delusional and debilitating. What is life but the words you speak from your breath and let collide in the universe to create what is you? If you don't speak up, everybody else will put words in your mouth for you, and I promise you it will not taste good. As a Black woman in America, I meticulously write my story only to have it plagiarized and erased. As painful as that is, I cannot and will not let them tell me my story. The least I can do is put my pen to paper in my ink and tell people the experience of what it is to be me through my own words and in my own voice. There is no one more qualified to celebrate you than you. It does take loads of practice and many leaps of faith, plus ample amount of mistakes. But that is precisely why you should write your own story and celebrate it. I don't know about you, but I'm not adapting to the bullshit. The people who are running this gambit are trying to have you believe that they are more qualified to set up the rules of engagement than you are. In my opinion, nothing separates me from anyone else but one moment. There is no difference between you and the person on the street or the person in the mansion. A car accident, a house burning down, or a natural disaster, or winning the lottery can level you out very quickly. As a society, we must humble ourselves so we are able to uplift one another and we can all rise to the top together. Laying down and taking the beating does not show your worth. How well you can take a beating is not admirable. The part that people admire is when you get up, mend your wounds, and continue to stand in your truth. The trickiest part about the human experience is interacting with other people who are riddled with trauma. It's unavoidable, honestly. But I will say that you can curate your life in a way that will satisfy and fulfill you. When I say curate, I mean taking full responsibility and control over your story. They will have you believe if you sit in your seat and hush up and behave, eventually you'll get a turn to speak. How is that working out for you so far? Adaptability and self-care do not go hand in hand. If that were true, then I would not be putting this pen to this paper because society tells me through various medias that my stories are not worth being told. I chose my self-care over their adaptability guidelines. That being said, it does come with perceived consequences. You will lose out on relationships, jobs, and money. At least you will feel like you are. We classify our losses as wins and our wins as losses so incessantly that we truly start to believe it. That is the biggest illusion of them all, isn't it? Cheat code. Get a glass of wine, roll up a joint, and ask someone you respect about self-care. Don't forget about adaptability. Chapter 5. Pay attention to your details, not theirs. Spending a 40-plus hour work week and then coming home to yourself is a very difficult and tasking thing to do. My friends are my age and younger and are already tired AF. But how, Sway? Oh, I know how. It's because all your proverbial eggs, the eggs here are, your time, your money, your ideas, your heart, are in the basket of other owners. Someone super close to me told me I have been spending the last 15 years building other people's careers, investing my time into their dreams, and leaving none for myself. Fuck, that is painful to hear. Naturally, the development of skills are huge and necessary aspects of the human experience. You gotta get a side hustle to survive, pay the bills, insurance, and other adulting shit. However, when is enough enough? At what point did you let your side hustle become your identity? Where did you misplace your personal development? When did you decide that your growth is subservient to their pockets? How do you cope with the unrest within yourself? Is there something noble to saying you invested X amount of time into someone else besides you? Loyalty and dependability will only take you as far as the CEO feels like it. Trust. The world we live in is fickle, and I don't say that to cause resistance, but to shed some light on how this thing really works. We are all expendable, replaceable, and mortal, and there is nothing wrong with that. You are here to do your work. Notice how I said your. Explore and embrace the journey, then leave crumbs or a whole ass meal for those who are coming up behind you. That is the basic outline of life, with some enlightened laughs and purgative tears, a best friend or two, and all the other goody fillers in the human experience. It's the simplicity we tend to muddy up with our lack of self-care and all-around paranoia that the universe is out to get us. Am I the only one that has fallen into this trap? We are forgetting to pay closer attention to our own details. And you've been doing this most of your life. You've been letting other people carry your eggs, and then you wonder how they get misplaced, cracked, or broken. Do we need people to carry us in life? Do we need it all the time? That is something for you to answer. Cheat code. Ask someone about personal responsibility and tell them don't beat around the bush. Please and thank you. Ask another person, because this is really important, okay? Chapter 6. The Pleasure of Pain. Does it feel good? I'm currently on Facebook chat talking with someone I've known my whole life, but haven't really known. We go in and out of our friendship. We were born about a month apart, and one of the first things she says is, "Can you believe we are turning 30?" So I decided I should come back to this world I created for myself. I only write when I feel like it. Forced emotions are rarely, if ever, positive. Oh, this week was an emotional one. Questions of what is true, what is surreal, what is fickle, what is stagnant, all live underneath my skin. The election is near, and for anyone that reads this in the future, yes, the fuckery is real too, or so it seems. How much do you stay connected to the superficial aspects of life? How long will we continue to choose suffering? Does pain really equal pleasure? I like to believe that life can be simpler than we make it out to be. The beautifully dangerous thing about the human mind is that anything that is learned can be unlearned. Again, any learned behavior can be unlearned. Your life is essentially learned lesson after learned lesson. How you love, how you hate, how you tolerate, how you grieve, how you connect, how you express, all of it. How you live is a lethal combination of what you've learned. What you've learned has been a variation of survival tactics transcended down from generation to generation. Yup, survival skills as means of protection transformed into communication, wilted down into actions, reactions, or inactions. Besides physically surviving, we now use our mental capacities more than ever. With reckless abandon, we have tossed our intuition to the side for a sense of unproven stability by following a mind-numbing outline on how we are supposed to live, aka learned survival tactics. But were our forefathers onto something? In some respect, absolutely. In others, absolutely not. The human race is addicted to pain. The addiction comes from where all other addictions stem from: immense lack of self-love and trauma. The missing element of self-love, also disguised as your intuition, is in lieu of those survival tactics, learned behaviors. One must give up innate characteristics of self in order to make it through life, or so they say. In essence, you have to relinquish the feels in order to survive the now, which in reality is learned behavior taught to you by the people that raised you, because that's what they learned to do, and you usually can only teach what you've learned. Actually, it's more similar to regurgitation. The only true teacher of life is living and experiencing it through your own eyes. That's it. Your opinion should be authentically yours. As frightening as it can be, it is a big, ginormous, important as fuck part of your journey. They teach you that popular opinion matters, that the majority rules. Is that true, or is that a mind-numbing tactic? That's for you to decide. Pain and protection work together as partners and nemesis. You want to protect yourself from the pain, more so the imagined pain you'd feel. Someone long ago said that pain should be avoided at all costs. Someone who was hurt and in pain, I presume. They sounded pretty convincing and told a friend who told a friend and so on, and here we are today living in someone else's pain. Protection comes in all forms, shapes, and all sizes, just like you and me. Addiction, destruction, manipulation, resentment, inaction, hate, miscommunication, deflection, projection, avoidance, and even illness. We've all lived in one of these or all of these states. It affects our every breath, every thought, every move in life. While we walk in protection from pain, we miss out on the pleasure of the present. You have to take pleasure in being yourself in the moment you are currently living. Getting lost in the past and future causes us that immense pain, since we have to constantly criticize our current self for not being our past selves. When I really think about it, it's such a fucked up way of living. Cursing past learned behaviors, always missing the moment, doubting the future, and then we wonder why we are in so much pain. Cheat code. It's a touchy topic, but it's vital. Ask, pleasure or pain? You probably need a little bit more space for this. Chapter 7. Honesty takes practice. Practice makes permanent. First and foremost, honesty begins within you. When you gain clarity, you transition the endless abyss of wants into well-defined and precise choices. This will declutter your thoughts, your strategy, and your life. How does honesty and transparency come together in your life? If you value it from others, then why would you not offer it up? Even if you do believe loads of people are disingenuous, why continue the cycle? Has it proven to do us a service or a disservice as a collective and as individuals? Personally, I don't ever apologize for how I feel. My feelings are valid, even if you are not understanding them. However, you have to recognize the foundation of your emotions. There is this sickening ideal that happiness is the only emotion worthy of displaying. To me, that is an extremely infuriating and dangerous space to live in. It takes practice and time, but we can become emotionally logic. It's as if we are not giving each other and ourselves enough space to actually be human. Sometimes I'm an asshole, and that's okay. Maybe my car broke down, I lost my job, or someone in my family just passed away and my energy is misaligned. It does take time to understand what triggers you and how to cope with the pain. Many of us lash out routinely without investigating the cause and leaving mountains of destruction. We create habits to propel our unhappiness because sympathy seems way more lucrative than transparency and personal responsibility. Perhaps you were not given an environment where honesty was applauded nor encouraged. Nevertheless, you have the ability to move the fuck out when you want to. Barriers can be built by them, yet they continue to stay manicured because of you. Here's a quick how to be honest 101. 1. Be clear and verbalize how you feel. If you feel something, say something. 2. Be reasonable and know when you're being emotionally illogical. This takes practice. 3. Apologize for your part, not being clear, projecting, dancing around the subject. 4. Know your ego will go undefeated and your relationships will go with it. Just saying. 5. You have the right to feel how you feel. Cool. Now, don't take that away from someone else because you're being too lazy to understand it. 6. Be kind to yourself. It's usually when we are hurting, we lash out onto everyone and everything. 7. Know who you're talking to, and if you don't know, figure it out. Fast. 8. There's always something to learn about yourself in the situation. Cheat code. Can we be honest? This is exhausting, but worth it. Ask someone about dishonesty. Chapter 8. Interweb likes versus real life. Real hugs matter. But that's why we have friends. So we can bounce ideas and situations off someone else, hear it aloud, and subconsciously ask for a suggestion or a conclusion. In conversations, when a friend is having a dilemma, it's almost impossible not to relay it back to yourself and your experiences. After your friend stops talking, you deliver a speech from your mindset, how you would react, what you would do in the situation. That's all fine and dandy, even helpful if you give good advice and if the person is listening. But it's about your friend's perspective, really. When we ask for help, we are asking for someone to help dig deeper into who we are. Therefore, sometimes your perspective is not necessary. When did we stop asking questions? Questions help reveal and uncloak the mind and in turn the soul. Personally, I'm addicted to asking questions that actually makes people digest, think, and then answer, even if it's not in that moment. As advanced as we are in technology, we have starved the mind. In today's age, technology has taken over our brain function. It has taken much power out of our brain, relinquished and trapped our brain power. Something as plain and annoying as auto text. Most people who are attacked by the unsolicited auto text get frustrated with it because fuck is a word, damn it. Now, if Beyonce's name can autocorrect, then you can give us all the words. Thank you. Cursive is a dying art. Voicemails are on the way out. Letters, those are extinct. Everything is much faster and requires way less thought and input. How many of us write LOL but are definitely not laughing at at all? That is some freaky shit. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but that's how my brain works. It is just telling how acronyms and emojis are taking over real human emotion. Therefore, our perspective is becoming more and more limited since we input way less energy. But then, when it comes to certain topics, politics, religion, how to raise a child, there's a violent outburst that soon follows behind. That violent outburst causes insurmountable damage. Our brains go from 0 to 100 real quick. The in-between is slowly dissipating and becoming obsolete. Now people read text messages as actual emotions. I don't know about you, but that scares me because perspective is a hell of a drug. Cheat code. Maybe someone a bit more seasoned can elaborate on the importance of real-life connection. Make some cookies and dunk it in. What is real life? Okay, I'm done for now. Now that you've gotten inside my head a little, it's time to get it back inside of yours. Chapter 9 is a place for you to speak from the soul. Ask the questions you never dared to and congratulate yourself for coming this far. Reflect on the times that grew you and what you're looking forward to in the near future. Don't forget to write down questions you want answered in the question section. You are the author of your story. The pen is in your hand. Feel free to copy pages and add in multiple chapters and cheat codes. There are no limits. By now you understand that this is not about age, but state of mind. Carry this with you throughout life and dive back in when you feel misaligned, confused, or bored. Either way, I love spending time with you. Hey, don't be a stranger. Hashtag fuck I'm 30, your favorite quotes. It's your turn. What's your chapter about? Whew, that was emotional as fuck, and I am proud of you. What did you learn about yourself? Thank you. Hope we can do this again sometime. Real talk. Blessings. Novi. You can find me on Instagram if you feel like it. At I am Novi Brown. Sending you love. If you would like a physical copy of this book, please check the description box below.